music is the new hymn, right? Because if you think of religious music as music that posits an answer, right? So religious music is all about, praising God, who is going to make everything great and who's there for us and who gives us ultimate happiness. We're singing all these songs. Then of course that's what pop music is. Pop music is doing all of that just with a different X. It might be revenge, it might be money, it might be fame. But pop music is a type of religious worship of some object that frees us from the difficulties of life. Just like Hollywood movies tend towards that. Whereas independent movies and independent music is designed not to cover over the antagonisms and the gaps that are within us, but to reveal them in a way that is beautiful, in a way that is kind of liberating. So that's, I think, a good way to roughly talk about the difference between independent movies and Hollywood movies, with some very good exceptions, is that generally indie movies tend towards exposing the gaps, the antagonisms and the traumas of life. And Hollywood tends to cover over them, to give us a look at the contemporary ideology that is attempting to help us avoid that. And the best Hollywood movies, actually, like things like Fight Club or whatever, they actually do what a type of indie would do, but in a very Hollywood style. And the best indie movies do what they do, but with a little bit more slickness, and they're less boring, right? So anyway, I worry that there's a lot of pop spiritual gurus out there who we're all susceptible to it. So the reason why I'm doing this little reflection here is I'm just kind of going like, whoever it is, and it, me or whoever it is, if you ask yourself, are they selling me the new way to wholeness, completeness and satisfaction? In some way, are they kind of enacting a type of guru who is kind of trying to say, I have the answer, and if you just follow this, everything's going to be wonderful? And then just be cautious of that. Because here, honestly, the truth is, right, as I say, I know people who, they start off just trying to work out their own stuff. But then they start to talk about it, and then they start to write about it. And you know what? If you're not careful, the next thing you're doing is you're handing out names. You're renaming people, right? You're actually enacting this ridiculous notion of the guru, right? I'm all for the guru, but the idea of the last guru, right? I'm all for gurus in the sense of, I think that we all project out to others, kind of teachers, various kinds, someone who has the answer. And that works. We all need to look to other people to help us at times. And so we naturally can project out to some guru that they have the answer. The issue is this, is that a true spiritual leader should attempt to be the last guru, right? They're the guru who reveals the secret that there is no guru. They are the guru who helps reveal to you your own freedom, your own responsibility, your own embeddedness in life with all of its difficulties. So the true guru doesn't reject it. They allow you to think that they are for a time, and they help you realize that there's none, so that you don't move from one guru who fails, because they all fail eventually, to another. The very good guru is the one who they fail, but they are so bad that they destroy the very structure of gurus themselves. And this is called self-castration. It's where, and kids go through it, or should go through it, is when you think that your mother or your father is perfect and wonderful and brilliant, but then eventually you realize that they're just a normal person like you. And that takes time. But that experience is traumatic, but it is also part of growing up. And if that doesn't happen, then all sorts of problems arise. And that family members, parents, need to enact their own death, or at least it's going to happen anyway, and often in adolescence it happens in a very extreme way. But you've got to allow it to happen, at least let it happen. Realize that part of your role as a parent is to die. Of course you're going to die physically, but you have to die symbolically first. And if you don't die symbolically first, you will die physically, and you will remain alive symbolically. And your kids will continue to try to be pleasing you in their relationships and in their jobs and all of this kind of stuff, because you will remain alive to them in a symbolic way, which is not healthy. You need to die symbolically, so that when you die biologically, Your children will mourn you and will remember you, but they will not be ensnared and colonized by their supposed desire to please you. They will be able to take responsibility for their lives and make their own mistakes. And of course, as a parent, that's ultimately, I guess, what you want. You want your kid to, at first they look to you for all the answers and for freedom, and then very gradually they realize, and you help them realize, that they have to take responsibility for their own freedom, and then they move on.